Tonight, it's my honor to talk to you about the A.A.A of affirmations. And if you didn't catch last week's Wednesday Night Insight on creative affirmations, I invite you to go check that out because it's important to today's topic. And last week, we talked about creating for ourselves creative affirmations. And these are statements that we make in an awareness that we co-create our lives with a divine intelligence. We don't create our lives ourselves, nor does the divine create our lives for us, but we work together in the co-creation of our life. And that's why creative affirmations are so important, because we stop, we pause, and we articulate with clarity, with conviction, and with desire what it is that we want to co-create in our lives with Spirit. Now, I created some affirmations in brainstorming with you last week, but I've worked on them using the A.A.A method that I'm about to talk to you about. And so I have articulated four affirmations for 2024, and I'm going to share them with you now. The first is, creativity is at the center of my life. Creativity is at the center of my life. Second, I am thriving, prosperous, and healthy. I am thriving, prosperous, and healthy. The third is, when I meet my own needs, others' needs are met. When I meet my own needs, others' needs are met. And lastly, I am deeply loving and profoundly loved. I am deeply loving and profoundly loved. And if you paid attention last week, my affirmations are a bit different than the ones that I shared with you last week. And I'll explain why by sharing the A.A.A method with you that I'm going to invite you to use in creating your affirmations and applying them to your everyday life. So the first A stands for articulate. Articulate powerful affirmations. And articulating doesn't just mean how they sound when you say them out loud, and I'll talk about that, but it also means how they resonate with you. And so the first question I would ask you as you're looking at your affirmations that you've written is, are they sincere? I am simply not one for saying affirmations that are bullshit, that don't resonate with my heart, that don't mean anything to me, or that I've created for some superficial idea for who I think I'm supposed to be based upon some authority figure's judgment about me. You want your affirmation to really ring true in your heart. Let's take the affirmation, creativity is at the center of my life. That is a very sincere affirmation for me, because although the most important thing in my life is my daughter, for example, for me, a meaningful moment always means that creativity is the goal. If there's an hour in my life that doesn't have creativity in it, it's a wasted hour. And so I'm always looking for that creative opportunity, whether it's writing something or doing a creative project with someone or just noticing something about life. So creativity is at the center of my life is a very centering and authentic affirmation for me. Another question in articulating our affirmations is, does it stretch us? Does it call us to grow? I am thriving, prosperous, and healthy is an affirmation that's going to stretch me, because I know every morning when I say it, if I'm not thriving, if I'm not healthy, if I'm not prosperous, I'm going to know it. And I'm going to be able to utilize that affirmation to restore myself, to forgive myself, and most importantly, to focus myself on what it is that I'm wanting to create it. And then there is the articulating. Last week I had something that went like this. I am inspiring love and receiving an inspiring love. That probably wasn't it exactly, but it was something like that, and I practiced saying it aloud. And I realized that this inspiration word was getting in the way. And so I eventually came up with something that sounded really good to me. I am deeply loving and profoundly loved. I am deeply loving. Sometimes it's hard to accept myself as deeply loving. Sometimes I judge myself about how I'm showing up with my family or other people. And sometimes, it's challenging for me to admit that I'm profoundly loved. Sometimes when I'm loved, I can't help but have that part of me that doesn't think he's worthy of love get in the way. And so this affirmation, I am deeply loving and profoundly loved, is a very sincere affirmation that helps me really settle into really opening myself to being really giving of love and also receptive to it as well. So the first A again is articulate. Our second A is anchor. We want to anchor our affirmations throughout our lives and throughout our day. And taking inspiration from B.J. Fogg, who wrote a brilliant book called Tiny Habits, he invites us to take a new habit, in this case, a new affirmation, and to apply it within the habits that we already have within our everyday life. So take a moment, pause this, write down, or just think to yourself right now, what are some things that you do every day, daily habits? Every day I get out of bed in the morning. Every day I brush my teeth. Every day before I go to bed, put the coffee in the filter and set the alarm for the coffee to go off in the morning. Every day I put my head on my pillow. Every day I walk outside my door. Every day I turn my car off. The list could be forever. It's amazing the things that we do every day or almost every day. And anchoring can be this practice of taking this new affirmation and applying it to these daily habits so that you learn to say them every day. Whenever I'm done brushing my teeth, I will say, creativity is at the center of my life. Every night when I put my head on the pillow to go to bed, I will say, I am deeply loving and I am profoundly loved. Try it. Take these affirmations and utilize them throughout your day. To go on a bit of a tangent here, another thing that you may want to create for yourself in 2024 is what I call an anchoring affirmation. A creative affirmation is a statement that we make in the spirit of co-creating our life with a divine intelligence. An anchoring affirmation is a divine truth we remind ourselves of when things are stressful or challenging. And so one that I love is when everything feels chaotic, I like to affirm everything is in divine right order. You want to say it with me? Everything is in divine right order. Everything is in divine right order. And it helps me remember, even though part of me feels that might be insincere in the moment because things are so crazy, I do believe in this underlining of peace, in this spirit of grace that is always available, and that this idea that everything is in divine right order can manifest itself in my life if I let it. If I'm in the dentist's office or at a doctor's appointment and something's going on, I love the affirmation, there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is your life, that life is my life now. I'll chant it over and over, and it becomes this kind of anchoring affirmation that helps me remember the spiritual truth in challenging or fearsome situations. So articulate, anchor, and lastly, apply. We want to take these affirmations and apply them to every area in our life. Now, I feel blessed, and I hope you have the same blessing, that one of your daily habits is a morning spiritual practice. And so when it comes to my 2024 affirmations, I'm going to recite them almost every morning. And it's not just about reciting them, it's about applying them to the day. Creativity is at the center of my life. And I'm going to apply that to the time that I'm going to take to write a Sunday sermon. I am thriving, prosperous, and healthy. I'm going to apply that to paying my bills that day. I meet my own needs and others' needs are met. That's an affirmation for me about boundary setting. It's to remind myself that if I'm not meeting my own needs, I can't help others. And don't get trapped, Josh, in this aspect of sacrificing your own needs, martyring yourself to help other people. And so I get to apply that to my son asking me for a ride to work that day, or an errand that my wife needs ran. Whatever it may be, I get to stop and pause and to say, Josh, you're going to get that run in today. You're going to get that creative time, and others' needs are going to be met in that process. And then lastly, of course, I am deeply loving and profoundly loved. I'm going to apply that to my date night tonight. I'm going to apply that when I'm feeling a little nervous about talking to you on stage on a Sunday, or even right now into the video camera. It's going to help me remember the truth of who I am and what I want. So I invite you to step into 2024 as a full-on co-creator in your life, to try utilizing affirmations, to pay that little bit of attention, to write some down, articulate them, anchor them, and apply them to your lives. And I promise you, your life will, for the better, never be the same. Happy 2024.
In this moment, I recognize the power and the presence of the divine, the spirit that is the living God within each and every one of us lives within me, brings me into alignment with the beauty and the wonder that is this world, that is this planet, that is this life. And as I recognize that this world wants for me to find peace, for me to have comfort, for me to be loved and to share this love, this peace, this comfort, I know that these things are real, that they live within me, and if they live within me, they live within thee, within every person, everywhere. And so I recognize that the love that is God is the peace that is brought to each and every one as we move through this day, through this hour, through this moment. I know that God is love, God is peace, God is comfort, and that any anxiety, any upset, any disruption that I imagine, I let go, and it dissipates into the nothingness from which it came. And I am so grateful to know this, to feel this power, this loving presence, to know that it is for all of us, for we truly are all one in God. And so it is with great gratitude that I release these words, this prayer, into that alchemy of law, knowing that it is done, knowing that all is well, knowing that Spirit works in our best interest always. And so we say, and so it is.